Ride through the city like Brennan Schaub. I'm on a mission to get it all. Ride through the city like Brennan Schaub. If you ain't thick, please don't get involved.
And now, Brandon Thick Boy Schaub. Sunday. What's poppin', fam? Welcome to the Q&A. These are all your YouTube questions being answered. Let's get to it. Hopefully y'all enjoyed the MVP Netflix card. I was in Dallas for my son's football game, so I haven't watched it yet. I'm sure that's the honest answer for you guys. But let's get right to it. These are YouTube questions. It's at chillout1865. Fan question that I'll keep trying until I get answered. 10th attempt, Chin and Nick. Hey, Brendan, longtime fan. Saw you do stand-up in Pittsburgh a while back with Hassan and Derrick. Those are my guys. Got a question for you. That is a hill I'm willing to die on. I'm curious to see what you think. I feel like Aldo-Conor fight goes completely different if they never did that World Press Tour. I don't ever remember the UFC doing something like that. That's how big the fight was, bud. I understand they were pushing Conor to absolute superstardom, but I feel like it really did Aldo dirty. Agree. Let me know what you think. Thanks again. Hope the series gets picked up for more episodes. Me too, Bubba. I have a meeting next week with them. I'll keep you posted. Come on, Tubi, do the right thing here. Also, the way you speak about fatherhood inspires me as a father, and the way you talk about how our connection can take time to develop really helped me through thinking I'm doing things wrong with that. I'm just a bad father. Appreciate it. Nah, man, take some time. Don't be so hard on yourself. Back to Conor Aldo. Agree. We've never seen him do kind of that world press tour, and that's not really Aldo's thing. And Conor was playing that mental warfare game, and he just kept poking, prodding, poking. So finally, when the fight comes, Aldo's like, fuck this, and rushes in and gets clipped. I couldn't agree more. It was a huge mistake if you are Aldo fan. And yeah, if in hindsight, they really did Aldo dirty there. That's a hill you should die on, my man. Fan question, at Batman Would Rather. Hot take, weird seeing people defend Sean talking all that nonsense, apologizing afterward, and everyone's suddenly acting like it's fine. That's basically WWE style manufactured drama. Agree. I didn't say manufactured fighting, the same kind of fake beef fighters constantly clown because it's not real. Now, Sean himself has admitted the beef wasn't even genuine to begin with. I know, I don't like that. So why are people mad that fans aren't okay with it? Sean constantly talks about being the realest guy on the roster, so yeah, he should be held accountable for that image. Agree. If the beef was real, cool. If it wasn't, then don't sell it like it is, just to hype fights and manipulate fans into buying fake narratives. Agree. The whole UFC appeal is supposed to be authentic, as real as it gets. They've ditched that, if you've noticed. Apparently not anymore. Is that it?
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. I think Sean, he does just shoot from the hip and, wears his heart on his sleeve and just says some wild shit. I don't agree with everything he says. Obviously, not many people do. I think he is real, and part of that is even him admitting this, which I think was kind of a mistake. I'm not that excited about the rematch if it does happen, and I think it's in due part to this, where it's like, oh, we know it's all fake, dude. So even if he goes even further, starts attacking his religion, his personal relationships, stuff like that, and Kadyrov and all that shit, we just know that it's all wolf tickets, So I agree with you, brother. I still think he is being held accountable by a lot of people, though. And that's why he's polarizing. At Zach Minyard 7903 fan question. As of I know, Sean Strickland does not have a nickname. It's Tarzan. I know he used to be Tarzan, but I would love to hear what you guys think is a fitting nickname for Sean Strickland. I was thinking Sean the American Dream Strickland. What's your thoughts? Love the show, guys. Keep on keeping on. Sean All-American Strickland. Sean the Patriot Strickland. Something like that. You know what I'm saying? Sean U.S. of A. Strickland.
The Bald Eagle. Just kidding.
The American Dream Strickland's pretty fucking good, though. I like your idea, bud. At SH4DY313. Fan question. For the third time, hopefully before the MVP card. Cutting it close. This is after. Sorry, man. Obviously, it's not going to happen, but with Brock retiring from WWE, how huge do you think it would have been if he signed Brock tonight, Francis instead of Lynn's, and how do you think that fight would have looked? Buddy, That's a great idea. But you got to talk to Brock, who's, I think, 50-something now, into fighting Francis, which I don't think he likes his chances. Brendan, huge fan since Ultimate Fighter days. Dope to see where you have taken everything and love hearing about the kiddos. Thanks, dude. I'm a single dad of 3 boys and wouldn't trade it for anything. Good for you, doing the Lord's work. I'm sure you're a great dad, dude. Keep on keeping all those 3 little ones. I just don't, Brock's pretty set. So, and I don't think Brock has any like unanswered questions. He was a badass, especially with the little experience he had, one of the biggest freaks we've ever seen. I think for Gina Wright being out so long, getting canceled, she has something to prove. Ronda, one of the greatest to ever do it, if not the greatest to ever do it for female athletes. Her last 2 fights, is pretty rocky. So they have something to fight for. And it's unfinished business. For Brock, it's finished business. It would just be a payday, which he has. I don't see him doing it. But that fight would be massive, massive, massive. That's a great fucking fight. We're never going to see it, though. Great question. Good luck with the kiddos. At Alex P3997, fan question. I have 2 questions. Can you talk a little bit about the bad experience you've had dealing with Joe Silva? You have hinted about it before, but I've never seen you talk about it in detail. He has 2 questions. So let's answer the first one. With Joe Silva, yeah, I don't fault him, but you're talking about a guy who's 5'1", and the amount of shit he would talk to fighters was insane. It's like when journalists talk shit to fighters, you're like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? We could snap your neck at any given moment, but we don't because we're civilized people. With Joe Silva, he was just a super fan that became the matchmaker. And he was just not a very warm dude. He was just the villain of the UFC. And he had his job was do the matchmaking. And I've told this story before, so you probably missed it if you haven't heard me talk about it in detail. So I won't get too into it because for some people, it's probably the 3rd or 4th time they've heard it. But I was getting ready to fight. Might have been LeVar Johnson. Is either LeVar Johnson or Matt Mitrione. And my manager, who still works with me today, Lex McMahon, I was like, hey, put me on speaker with Joe Silva, but don't let him know that I'm listening. He goes, dude, I don't think you want to do that. I go, no, I want to see what it's like, man. And he goes, you sure? I'm like, dude, I'm a big boy. I can handle it. Buddy, the way he talks about fighters, and I had him do it again with Rory McDonald, had him do it over in St. Preux, OSP, because I just wanted to get the lay of the land while I was dealing with, and just the shit he is the worst possible shit you think about yourself as a fighter. He uses as leverage, and it breaks your heart. It breaks your heart. It just makes you feel like a complete piece of shit. Tough guy. Tough guy. Second question, can you provide an update on Shane Carwin? Is he doing better at all since you've last talked about him? Thank yous with a Z. Yeah. As far as I know, last time me and him spoke, he was doing a lot better. He was in the Houston area. He left there. I won't say where he's at, but he's in a much better place. He didn't die. I don't mean that. He's in Hawaii.
Real quick on the Joe Silva thing. Did you guys ever have any like cool conversations? Has it always been just not good?
Before the Crow Cop fight, after Wayne's comes up to me, he's like, "You better fuck this guy up." Like, and he's this big.
Yeah.
I'm rearing to go. I'm at Wayne's. It's stressful. And he puts his finger in my chest. Goes, "You better fuck this guy up. You better not be buddies like Pat Barry." I went, "Whoa! I got you. Get the fuck out the way. I have shits bigger than you. What are you doing? Get the fuck out of here." And obviously I did my job. And after he goes, "That's what I'm talking about," and fist bumped me.
All right.
And even then you're like, oh, thank God. Fucking. Hopefully he's doing all right now.
Yeah,
no animosity.
I'm sure he's
towards
fine.
him. Yeah, I'm sure he's crushing it. Fucking has to lay low. At Sean Field 9923. Fan question. Love the show. Colorado fan here. Shout out to 5280 hometown. Been following you since Ultimate Fighter. Ronda just compared watching her fights with Ollie and Tyson fights. Oh, that's the issue. Do you think she is getting delusional? She was the best female at one time, but current UFC females right now, which starts prime Ronda, in my opinion, probably true. Your thoughts? Keep up the good work. The podcast gets me through the workday. Shout out to you, brother. Hope you're listening right now at work. Yeah, Yeah, Ronda just missed the mark sometime. Like, it's a fine line, right? Because you got to be confident in yourself and your skills to get to Ronda's level at any professional level. So it's going to come off as arrogance, even if you believe that your fights are similar to Muhammad Ali. I can't believe I'm saying this out loud. If you think her fights are similar to Muhammad Ali and Mike Tyson's, you don't say it. You can believe that in your close-knit friends. You can talk about it. You don't say it publicly. So it's tough. But also, she has people, I don't know about now, I have no clue now, but back in the day, she had people around her that also believed that. So if you're constantly told that, it's not her fault because she doesn't have anybody that, I don't know now. Back in the day, she didn't have anybody that would check her. So I had people where if I was like, man, I bet I could beat Mike Tyson in boxing, they'd be like, you're out of your fucking mind, dude. I'm like, you're right, man. And then we keep it moving. So I think she's a product of her environment. At NH8916, fan question, I feel like ground and pound no longer exists like it used to. It seems like it's more about control and winning rounds. Have fighters just adjusted and are better about getting up? Yes, that's a great point. If fighters open up, or do fighters just put too much into keeping control? It feels like we don't get the T Ortiz or Khabib style ground and pound these days. So the grappling part, misspelled grappling, all good, dude. I do it all the time. The grappling part of MMA feels a lot more boring to fans. It's a combination of things. You hit the nail on the head. Guys are way better about getting up, so they don't just sit there and use jiu-jitsu techniques to get up anymore, which allowed the ground and pound, especially in the Khabib days. He fought a lot of heavy BJJ guys. Guys are really good at anti-wrestling and getting up. So when you go to open up to throw these, elbows or fists, it gives guys time to get up and get to their feet. So you're getting a lot more controlled fights because if they do open up for ground and pound, guys are getting up. The game has changed. And that's why you don't have as many wrestlers dominating these days as well. At JoshMan5581, fan question, how much does a broken nose mess with your cardio? Felt Sean's loss gassed in the later rounds than he normally does. How much of a part does a broken nose play into that? Let's effing go. Love the show. Thanks, brother. Yeah, it's a big component when you're talking about your cardio. So I was probably in the best shape I've ever been in my life when I fought Crow Cop. And he elbowed me in the nose and shattered my nose, but my adrenaline was going. I'm in the middle of the fight. It might have been like second round, maybe early second round, might have been first round. I forget these days, right? CT's a mother. But I just remember I ran a sub 5-minute mile. I was 240 pounds. Your boy was in shape. And I remember somewhere, maybe middle of the second round, he had me against the cage. I'm like, I'm so tired. What the fuck? Like 3 rounds ain't shit. I could do this in my sleep, dude. What the fuck is going on? And it's because my nose was shattered, so you're getting a fraction of the oxygen you need, and the blood's going down the back of my throat. So it's a huge indicator that you're compromised. So that's a great point when it comes to Sean Strickland. His nose was broke, and he didn't look the best cardio-wise. I agree, man. But it's a huge factor. Huge factor.
Go to the top.
At Well Strength Coach, fan question, but this guy's super strong. Brendan, loved your rant on Khamzat needing more sport-specific practice. You hit the nail on the head. Thanks, dude. I'm a strength coach working with athletes, and I see this all the time. The higher the level, the more complicated the prep gets. Yes, because they're very acceptable to people being like, it would be better instead of meat and potatoes. It's easy to get in with the big names. Let's see. You mentioned Khamzat's wrestling and cardio. It made me think, why do fighters drift away from just hammering their sport-specific strength and basics in the gym? And more importantly, why do they keep choosing it? Because from my side, it often feels like athletes assume they're getting elite coaching just because they're elite, when in reality, they're just getting more noise. Dude, ding, 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 ding. You hit the nail on the fucking head. Because you get to such an elite level, and if you're at the professional level, if a coach comes to you and is like, hey, you know how you could get better? We're just going to do more intense grappling. We're just going to do more intense cardio in your grappling and bring in better guys that force you to increase your workload and get better at the actual sport. Those guys are like, that's too easy of an answer. That's too meat and potatoes. But if this guy comes in and he has a heart rate monitor, we're monitoring your CO2 levels and lactic acid, and you're hitting the tire and you're tossing the medicine ball and you're running up the hill. Well, oh, wow, that's new. That's exciting. This is something I haven't heard before, seen before. Let's give this guy $100,000 in my camp and I'm going to have better cardio. Because it's not sexy. The answer to all these questions for these fighters with bad cardio, the answer is not sexy. The answer is spar more. Increase your workload in sparring. Increase your workload wrestling. But that's not sexy, and that doesn't take some genius. You know, maybe he comes from the cycling world, or maybe he comes from some marathon world, or Tough Mudder, or, you know, fucking Iron Man. It's not sexy to go, you know how you get better? We just do more of the same. No one wants to hear from that guy. And when you get to an elite level, you forget what got you to the dance. And it can ruin your career. It's not sexy. You know? What's sexy is the state-of-the-art gyms and the cold plunges and beat your inner bitch and all this stuff and the cryotherapy and stem cells and all this new age stuff and peptides and all this. You know what the answer is? You want to get in shape? Go running. You have shoes, right? Go running. Oh, and shut your fat mouth. Go running, drink a lot of water, run in the sun, make it tough. Mentally, you want hard, run 3 miles in the Texas sun. It's gonna make you tougher. It's not sexy. No one wants to see you do it. It doesn't make for a fun Instagram video. But that's what it is. It's the meat and potatoes. It's what made you great. Wrestling. Wrestle harder. Wrestle with more intensity. It's not going to be fun for Instagram. It's not going to be fun for the sponsors. But it's what's going to win you fights. You're right, brother. God damn, these questions are getting good. At Miggy ZY13. Fan question. Been a fan ever since. Tough. So proud of the father you become. Thanks, dude. And the more mature man you are now. I know, but I feel like I'm not as fun. I feel the older I get, I don't have a ton to say these days unless it comes to kids' sports and fighting. That's how I feel, brother. I'm more disciplined than I've ever been, but I'm not running the streets. So if you want to talk to me about trucks, if you want to talk about diesel trucks, you want to talk to me about fighting or youth sports, I'm your guy. Outside that, I don't have much to say, Bubba. I know. But that was a weird rant, sorry. Did you hear about the Strickland during his camp dislocated his shoulder, grappling somebody up against a cement wall or something? Yes, it was the week of the fight, and it was that badass from Bellator. I'm sorry, PFL. I refuse to call it PFL. From Bellator, Eblin. Yes, Johnny Eblin. My question is, why do you never open up your own gym like most retired MMA fighters do? Say in Denver or wherever, you would be such a great coach with the kiddos. Come on, man, get some extra numbies in the bank account. And he goes on about opening gyms. How do I answer this and not sound like a dick? Because I took an unconventional route where I don't have to. And that's the common thing to do, right? Former fighter, opens gym, your life's okay, and that's the story. I've taken a very unconventional route, and hopefully a lot of other fighters are doing that these days. And I don't want to toot my own horn, but I feel like I've given them hope where they don't have to open up a gym. They can get on a mic. They have a lot to say. They have a lot of experience. And you have journalists and guys who have never fought who are making money talking about fighting. A guy like Aljo, a guy like Marab, a guy like Sugar Sean, a guy like Demetrius Johnson. You have some guys way smarter than me, can do what I do. I'm not special. So it gives them hope, I would assume, that they can make income and not open up a gym. And as far as you'd be great with kids, I am with my kids. I put all my time into them. Now I'm coaching my son's baseball team and his all-star team, but I ain't doing that if he ain't on the team. I'm coaching tackle football this summer. We start in July. I'm going to help out those other kids all day, but I'm there to help my son out. He's my number one priority, and I'm going to give all the kids the same attention, but I'm doing it to make sure my son goes down the right path in football. I don't want to leave it to somebody else when he's young. Now, I only get 2 years with him. Then, middle school football is big. So I have 2 years to help form good technique, and help him fall in love with the game of football. I have 2 years to pull that off with my older son. My youngest, I have a lot more years to go, but with my oldest son, who's this big kid who's built for football, I have 2 years to let him fall in love with football. If you hand that off to somebody else, who knows? Might ruin it for him, and he doesn't play football ever again. We know he loves baseball. I don't know shit about baseball. I can't help him in baseball. I can help his work ethic, and when it comes to football, I can help his work ethic, and I know a lot about football. It's one of the things I do know. I played for a very long time at a high level, so I can help him out there, and that's my focus. Hopefully that answers your question, dude. But yeah, I would say the reason I opened a gym is because I've made money elsewhere, and I don't have to, and thank God. And there's nothing wrong with opening gyms. That's a good life, but I was able to do other things, and thank God, and hopefully a lot of other fighters see my dumb ass doing it and go, man, if Schaub can do it, I can do it. And you're right, you can. At Exlated Born, fan question. Brendan, from the outside looking in now, it feels like the belt ain't the final boss anymore. The spectacle is. Facts. Back in the day, a title felt mythical. Chuck Liddell, GSP, Anderson, even Brock. The belt meant best fight on earth. Money came after the respect. Now, after Conor changed the business, it feels like the game shifted from who's champ to who moves the needle. God damn, you guys are getting good. Nate became bigger than belts. Masvidal got the BMF title. Francis walked away from the UFC belt itself from freedom and bigger money opportunities. Even John feels bigger than a heavyweight belt. Facts, dude. Nothing wrong with it. Either fighter should get paid. You sacrifice too much not to chase money, but from your era compared to now, does the locker room still view the belt like the holy grail? No. Or is it more like leverage for bigger checks and superstar now? You're spot on, and it's because of social media and live streaming and TikTok. And, you know, like now for the kids, Armin's bigger than ever. He doesn't have the belt, but he's made himself more famous from these clippers and from jumping on these streamers and Nina drama, which is good, and these guys are getting paid. But yeah, to your point, the belt's not the end-all, be-all anymore. It's a shame. It's just the nature of the business. And there's a reason why, Armin's Ilia's toughest fight. Why haven't we seen that? Well, because there's other guys that they thought would be bigger. You're right, man. You're right. You made me really sad right now. But it's the nature of the business. It's just they're going with the flow. At JMC Donald 80. He put a bunch of like fans, like Asian fans for each other.
Yeah, I know.
Fan question. Oh, fan question. Fan question, a bunch of fans. Do you think this system could work? Here's the rundown. Ranks 50 to 41, contender series start at 5K and go up 1K each rank. That's a low entry level, Bubba's fuck. Ranks 40 to 26, developmental league start at 10K and also increase by 1K each step. Again, we're low entry level. Then ranks 25 to 1 start at 100K. Okay, adding 20K each rank. So rank 1 lands at 580K. Then 1 to 25 Legends League after retirement so they don't tarnish their legacy. Still can fight without expectations. With the retirement stipulations. That way it doesn't feel like they own you when you are done. So the developmental to retirement. I'm not mad at it. It's a great start. I'm not mad at it at all. I actually love it. And I wasn't making fun of the 5K going up 1K because that seems right, and everyone wants to give UFC shit for not paying fighters enough money, but what should a fighter who's 3-0 come off the contender series fighting their first UFC fight make? Do they deserve 100K? Probably not. So I'm not mad at this breakdown. You guys are getting good. I'm not mad at the breakdown. I think the issue you're going to have is that 580. So that 580, so he goes, so rank number 1 lands at 580. That's not enough money for those guys that are that elite. I like the early on and getting those guys to build up. That would be fun. But for the 1 through 25, it's not enough money. It's not. At 44, Neelakanda Samark 99. Change your name. Fan question. GSP was perceived as superhuman after the Matt Hughes win, and people thought nobody on the planet was better than him until the Matt Serra loss. After that, people questioned him just like what Khamzat's getting now. Different. But GSP came back and proved for one full decade that he was indeed the superhuman we thought he was. Do you see a similar path for Khamzat? I know GSP was a karate guy and had significant striking skills when compared to Khamzat to begin with, but still, thanks for answering my last question. Doctor from India wanted Cats reunion. Make it happen, man. I know. There's a lot that would have to happen. I hear you, brother. God, GSP and Khamzat, they're just such a different animal because GSP's holes weren't a mental issue. His weight cutting wasn't an issue. The Matt Serra fight, he overlooked them and got caught, and you're like, all right, and they went on to go on this generational run and beat the fuck out of everybody and was always ready to go. Khamzat's a different can of worms. I love these questions today. You guys got me thinking. Khamzat's a different can of worms. And how do I answer this? Meaning, the GSP Matt Serra loss, you could go, okay, GSP overlooked him, and then he beat the brakes off of him after that, went on and did his thing. With Khamzat, it's a much trickier question because even in his wins, you're going, there's something off here. He's not finishing guys. He's dominating. He's not finishing. And then in the DDP win, it's like it was on the bottom of a mountain that last round. This ain't good. The Kamaru fight, you're going, man, if that went another round, he's cooked. The Gilbert Burns fight, you're going, that goes longer. He's cooked. The Strickland fight, you're going, yeah, but the weight compromised him. It's like, right. Keep telling yourself that, but Strickland was also compromised and had one shoulder and a broken nose and still won the fight. Now what? So for Khamzat, it's a much bigger problem. With GSP, it was very, okay, overlook the guy. Let's shore this up. His work ethic was never in question. The weight cutting was never an issue. We can deal with that. This is a simple fix. For Khamzat, it's not simple. And it finally caught up to him, and he lost the fight. And he didn't look great in any of the rounds. The first round, okay, had his back, but inflicted no damage. Didn't go for the win. There's something going on there, man. I keep telling you guys, it's here for him. It's here. I know you don't want to hear this because I don't have an answer for you. Because of the answer, I couldn't come up with the answer. I don't have the answer. Only Khamzat does. For Khamzat, the questions have to be answered here. And no one can answer that. And that's the issue you have. And this issue I have.
That's all?
Yeah, I think that's it. It's such a deep dive I could break down for you guys, but we don't have 2 hours.
I want to ask you real quick too, though. Like, I'm sure when you're a public person, like a fighter, you could be dealing with a lot of shit that could be affecting your fighting, but you don't want to tell the world. Is it possible he's going through some shit that's affecting his fighting?
No. Again, and I'm with you, and we want Khamzat to be this guy. But this has always been his issue, and there's always been some questions we haven't had answered. So if this was the first time we've seen this, maybe you're right. Maybe he's dealing with some shit outside the octagon we're not privy to, and that answers our questions. But this has been a ongoing thing here. It's ongoing. He's not active enough.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying I can't emphasize enough. I've been around the game so long. It's here, and we got to figure that out. At Fonzie Records 420. Fan question: who wins, Prime Conor or Prime Ilia? Love the show, G. Thanks, dude. Love your picture too. Hopefully that's your kiddo in a happy dad hat beanie. Super cute. Who wins, Prime Conor or Prime Ilia? Ilia. He has more tools. At Normac 4921. Fan question: what are the odds of Gina, JDS, Nate Diaz, and Chris Alvia winning this weekend? I'm considering a parlay with him. Also, if Hokit beats Curtis Blades closely and Derrick Lewis beats Curtis Blades easily, What were we thinking for the White House matchup? Just a straight up banger, possibly? Dude, these are fucking good. You guys are getting smart. Makes me feel good like I'm doing my job. Let's answer the first one. What are the odds of Gina? This is hilarious. What are the odds of Gina, JDS, Nate Diaz, Chris Avila, who's like 9-8, winning this weekend? I'm considering a parlay with them. Listen, if you have money to throw to the if you have money just to fucking throw, dude, fire away, Bubba. But the chances of all of them winning are not fucking good. And there's a reason you can put $10 and get like 300,000 back. You know, it's not likely, dude. Could JDS win? Yes. Can Nate Diaz win? Absolutely. That's a pick 'em fight. Can Chris win? Yes, it's a prelim. Anything goes. He's 9-8. Could Gina win? Oh, that's so tough. She hasn't fought in so long. The game has evolved so much. And she can't grapple. And Ronda can. And Ronda's a savage. Listen, if you have an extra 100, I'm not mad at it, dude. I could see all of them winning. Yeah. You know what? Yeah, dude. Fire away. Fire away. I hope you fucking win. That one makes me laugh. I hope you fucking win, dude. All of them could win. Gina's the one where it's like, oh, fuck. I cannot see a world where she wins. JDS, absolutely. Nate Diaz, absolutely. Chris, absolutely. Gina's the one where it's like, fuck, maybe leave her out of it, you know? And I hope, I love Gina. And I hope the best for her. And I hope it does gangbuster numbers. And I hope she just doesn't get mollywopped in there. But it's a tough one. Let's get to the second part. He's doing MMA math here. So if Hokit beat Curtis Blades closely and Derrick Lewis beat Curtis easily, now it's a different Derrick though, right? What we thinking for that White House matchup? Straight up banger possibly? No, because the reason why Curtis and Hokit was a banger is because Curtis doesn't have knockout power. He has good striking and he is a heavyweight, but he's not a knockout artist. So you can exchange with him. If Derrick Lewis lands more than 3 punches, the night's over. There's no banger. There's no back and forth like Curtis and Hokit. That ain't happening. If Hokit decides to do that same style against Derrick, his hype train's going to be over. He's going to get put to sleep. I'm hoping he doesn't. He's another guy who talks all this shit to get people to buy in and tune in. And I, with his football background, his wrestling background, his extensive wrestling background, I would hope he'd use some wrestling against Derrick and then stand up and try to play that game. If he comes out the gate hot, his night's going to be over. Straight up. And then the Hokit train is over. But I don't think we're going to get that out of him. I just don't. That'd be so dumb. And I don't think he's a dumb guy. We'll see. Could be wrong. At accounting393. Fan question. Hey, mate, quit pivot from MMA. Say AJ makes it through his next fight. Say Fury does if he takes one. I don't think he will. Who do you got in that fight? Coming from the UK, we don't really like AJ at all. Yeah, because he kind of...
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yo, you didn't know that? Yeah, he took a lot of heat because... he got mad at the press in England and the UK and kind of turns back on the fans. It's like, well, I'm African. It's like, oof. It was a weird thing. I remember that. Coming from the UK, we don't really like AJ at all. I always fancied Fury, me too, to win, but not now. Sure as it is Floyd Manny's situation at this point. What we saying, B? Hope the fam is all good. Yeah, we're good, brother. We're crushing out here. Thank you, bud. I'm with you. I've always sided with Fury beating the brakes off Joshua in their prime. And I'm a big, big Fury fan. Yeah, I don't know. I think Fury beats him via decision. I'll stick to that. I think Fury still gets it done. I always thought if they fought, even the prime, Fury would beat him via decision. I think that's true to this day. At Wayne Shaw 7758, fan question: do you think we're starting to see nullification of dominant wrestling styles at the UFC, kind of like we saw with BJJ in the last 10 years? Yeah, there's something going on. Like, you look at the current champs, and it's not so dominant wrestling heavy. And I think that's because guys are getting so good. They're answering that question of, when you get taken down, they're kind of nullifying that takedown and getting up and not allowing the ground and pound. I think also the wrestlers are having a hard time finding finishes. So because they can't really impose that ground and pound because guys are getting up, they're also not very good finishers as far as submissions go. So it's this perfect storm, and it's actually a good thing. It's actually a good thing. It's making for more entertaining fights, and wrestlers just aren't dominating, taking guys down, and this is actually a good thing. But you're spot on. At TDen9515, fan questions. I'm a huge fan. I found your podcast thanks to the JRE MMA show. Interesting. Do you think Strickland winning will motivate the American fighters in other weight classes to try and beat these high-level wrestlers that hold belts right now? Will motivate other American fighters in other weight classes? Who do we have, though, Bubba? Who do we have that's not a wrestler? There's not a ton of them. There's not a lot of guys like Sean Strickland that don't come from a heavy wrestling foundation that are stars as Americans. That's what's scary. There's not a lot of American prospects that don't come from a wrestling background. When you think of the prospects, you think of them. Like, I'm talking about high-level guys like Bo Nickel, super wrestling background. Gabe Stevenson, super wrestling background. Go through them.
Just looking at the pound for pound.
Pound for pound, there's no Americans really, except for Sean Strickland. You got Joshua Van there.
The heavier weight class.
Yeah, go through them. Who else? Who would be motivated? Sean Brady, heavy grappler. Joaquin Buckley just got the brakes beat off of him. There's not a ton of Americans, man. It's fucking disappointing. Brendan Allen, Fluffy Hernandez, Joe Pyfer. Yeah, maybe Joe Pyfer sees what Strickland's doing. Is like, all right, dude, Joe Pyfer, Strickland, you're welcome. If the White House card was in June and it was later down the road, Strickland, Joe Pyfer, American, that's a fucking fight, dude. That's a great fight. At Gulag Gang 3011. Fan question: is there a way to get a post-instant reaction show on Saturday night, Sunday morning after the big numbered events like Nightcap does with big football, basketball games?
At the very least, you were talking about it before.
Is there a way to get post-instant reaction show on Saturday nights? Yes. Yes. The answer is yes. The answer is I have to do it from my house. So I'm trying to do them more like on TikTok and Instagram, but I'm wondering if we could do a long form one that we upload to YouTube. Even if it's 5 minutes long, 7 minutes long, I can do a whole rant on there with the back screen like I can do on social media and just upload that to YouTube so you guys get it and not just on social media. The answer is yes, especially for the big fights. I'll start doing a better job. I have to.
I live pretty damn close to, so I mean, we can talk about it afterwards, but like setting something up at your house like that where it looks, and sounds professional.
The answer is yes.
Yeah.
I'll get better at that.
Let's go here.
At Joelito _ Sal 5090. Fan question: with Van being the flyweight king right now, how do you think he does against Horiguchi, Cape, Marino? Out of those three, I think Horiguchi runs the division with no problems. He's going to be a problem. Agree. Yeah. What Van has been able to accomplish with his short time in the game is incredible, but it will also be his downfall. Agree. Downfall for a little bit. I think he might lose the belt pretty soon here, but he's only 24, and then I think he comes back and runs the division for a long time because there's a lot of good talent, and he does have some holes in his games. I don't think he beats Pantoja. I would love to see him level up and succeed and not end up like Jamal Hill. He's not going to be like Jamal Hill because he's so young and talented, but, Agree. I think he's going to have some issues with Pantoja. But remember, Pantoja in flyweight years is 70 years old, so he doesn't have a ton of time. And then you have Horiguchi, Cape and Marino, I think he beats. But they're going to be all close fights. But I think eventually he long story short, Joshua Van will lose the title and then come back and get it and reign defending champion for a while. But you're right. At some guy 2929, fan question: do you think there should be more draws when it's a close fight? If draw is a likely outcome, wouldn't it make guys go for the finish? I don't want the judges being the ones who decide a super close fight. It would eliminate all the bullshit politics about who won and this and that. If both guys come away looking like they weren't in a fight, then what are we doing? Who cares who won? Example, Volkov, Cortez, Costa. Yeah, I've always been a huge proponent for draws. I don't think you have to have a winner. I think to your point with Volkov, Costa, with other fights, when there's not a lot of action or the fight's super, super close, here's a draw. Let's do it again, boys. Get your shit together. I'm with you. I think we're the minority here, though, bud.
Oops.
Nathan Douglas S71. Last one, Chin. Fan question, attempt 2. My fault for late entry, not on Nick or Chin when there's 2 younger new guys with a lot of potential. So here's the question. When there's 2 younger new guys with a lot of potential in the same division, do you think it's best to match them up earlier or later in their career? Later. They both climb the ranks. Later. I asked because people have been calling for Ethan Ewing versus Alexander Topuria, the brother of Ilia. Now, I'd like to see the matchup later on in their careers. Yeah, I'm always a big proponent of later in the careers. But again, sometimes the UFC doesn't know who's going to be good. So you got Armin Islam, right? Like right off the bat. You're like, what the fuck? But they didn't know what they had there. But then people will bring that fight up down the road now that these two are both monsters. I'm always a proponent of building these guys as far as they can go until they get to like 4, 5, 3, 2, and then you have them fight. Build the stars up, have them fight, because even if the loser, he's still a fan favorite, can bounce back after 1 or 2 wins, and then they keep going. But that's how you build stars. I don't believe in knocking them off when they're young lions. I'm with you. Is that it, brother?
Sure.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. These questions are the best we've had ever. They're awesome. Keep them coming. I love these. I love doing this. I could do this all freaking day. Thank you guys so much for liking, subscribing, making the show what it is. We put out 3 times a week because of you guys. I will do a better job uploading instant reactions to the big fights. Probably not this weekend with Ronda Gina unless something crazy happens. But for the bigger UFC cards, I will do instant reaction on my YouTube and social media for you guys. I'll get better at that. So, yeah, that's it. Thanks for the questions. Love you guys. I'll be back in the studio tomorrow. Love you. I'm out.
Big and he's brown, the big brown break down.